Hey guys, so I'm like in that mid-state between being hot and cold because I'm on the stairs and the airco is blowing from there and then the stuffy heat is coming from up there from the carpet and upstairs. So we'll see how it all goes. Happy Sunday to start off with. And today I need to work very hard at talking fast because it's about books. How can you do this to us? I literally had to go through my Goodreads and pick like I think it's top 10. And I've written them all out and I'm just going to talk through them. I don't have any of them here. I mean, they're all in my bookcase, but it's way too hot to go upstairs, so that ain't gonna happen. So I'm just going to start telling you about them because otherwise this video will go on till tomorrow. So this book is by R.J. Palacio, and actually her name is also Raquel. And I read it because my mum recommended it to me, and I read most of the books that my mum recommends me. And it was really good, and it's honestly changed my perspective on the world, I guess. It's such an interesting book. It's about a kid with autism, and it's amazing. It's so fantastic, and I definitely recommend it to everyone who's watching this. So yeah. Next, This Girl is Different by J.J. Johnson. So I got this book from my parents, I can't remember for what occasion, and I was like, I read the blurb and I was like, oh my god, this is so me. So it's about a girl who loves nature and outdoors. That's the only part that's not part of me. But I do love nature and loves animals, and just about, you know, she's different from the rest. So it totally described me, and I was like, I need to read it. And about a week or two after I got it, I could finally read it because I'd had some other books I had to read. And once I finished reading it, like I read it in 2 days and I fell in love with it. Oh my god, it's amazing. It is so good. I cannot describe to you how good it is. Just amazing. And especially if you are one of those people who's a bit standing out of the crowd or loves nature, or if you're just interested about those people, definitely read it. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Like, I can't get over how amazing it is. The Kitchen God's Wife by Amy Tan. So this book I read again because I think my mum recommended it to me, or I saw her reading it, or my dad, and I picked it up and I read the blurb and I was like, yeah, I need to read this. So I read it, and you kind of need to get past the first like 3 or 4 chapters, and then this main character starts talking about and telling her kids about the life, and literally the next 20 chapters are about her life. And it is so fascinating, and I cannot get over like it has a role, like it has a view of women's roles, it has a view of just all these different things, and it's just absolutely fantastic, and I would again recommend it to anyone watching this. This next one gave me shivers. It's called Time and Time Again by Ben Elton, and oh my god. Okay, again, you have to get past the first couple of chapters because it's a bit like and then you get into like the juicy stuff. And I actually, once I finished reading it, I went over the first couple of chapters again, and it made so much more sense, and it was like, it was necessary. So force yourself past the first couple of chapters and you will never stop thinking about that book. Oh my god. And read it in this century, before 2025. Honestly, just wow, 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 wow. I was shivering when I finished reading it. I went up to my dad and I was like, and especially if you need to learn anything about World War I, even if you don't have to, and you just want to, or like even if you don't want to, read the book. Like, you will learn so much in such an amazing way and in such amazing written story, and it's just, I can't get over how I've never stopped thinking about that book since I read it last year, and I still cannot stop thinking about it. Read it, trust me. I Was Here by Gail Forman. So if you haven't heard of Gail Forman, or if you don't recognize the name, or if you do recognize the name, that's because he wrote If I Stay, which became a movie I think a couple of years ago. I haven't seen it. And I Was Here was, out of the 3, I think my favorite, or If I Stay, but it was about suicide, and it was amazing. It was really good and really interesting, and just, it was just amazing. It was so good, and there's this plot twist, and it's just fantastic. Again, recommended it. I'm gonna keep saying that because, you know, I can't get over these books. This next one I finished reading about a week ago, and it's called A Certain Slant of Light by Laura Whitcomb. I still need to do a video on that for my channel. And it is Okay, it's been on my to-read list for maybe a year or two now, and when I picked it up, I read it again in like a night and the morning of the night after, and it was a bit different to what I'd imagined it when I'd read the blurb and when I'd heard about it and whatnot, but it was totally worth it. It's a bit different from all the other books on this list, but it is fascinating. It is so interesting. It goes into the supernatural and like what happens when you die, especially if you go to hell, and it's a bit pretentious, and the ending might be slightly predictable, like slightly predictable, but I was hooked on it. It was so good. This one, I'm surprised I haven't heard, well, I mean, someone else might have said it, but I don't recall anyone saying it. The Fault in Our Stars. So this book honestly changed my life. I read it in about 3 hours, and I finished it on a morning when we were about to go on holiday, and I started crying. And I cried for 3 days after, because we were in a hotel, and I kept like lying in my bed and crying. It just changed my world, and I have never seen the world in the same perspective since I read that book. Honestly, I don't know how I didn't see the world this way before, and of all these books, I mean, I can't say that, but definitely read it. Get round to it if you haven't. Read it before you watch the movie if you haven't watched the movie yet, because the movie's good, but the book is always better. Like, it changed my worldview pretty much. It's phenomenal. So good. This next one is another suicide book. Yes, I'm sometimes into that genre just because I really like reading about it. That's so weird. It's called 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. This one I read in a night. I picked it up from my school library, and I lay in bed and read it. And it's really funny because it goes through, like, the book is one night, and it's amazing. You don't realize it's one night until you get to like the last couple of pages, and it's like, I can't believe yesterday was when I still was thinking this, and you're like, I can't believe that was yesterday either. Like, it's done so well, and it's in the form of audios. Brilliant. I haven't read any other books like that, and it's amazing. It's so good. Please read this book. Guess who's in a new position, had a shower and changed? Me. So we have guests today for lunch, and I needed to help my parents because they came home, and then I wanted to shower and they asked me to change, so I was like, sure. So yeah, long story short, I'm gonna continue now. Sorry. So the next person on my list is by Maureen Johnson, and I read a book that she and John Green and Lauren Miracle wrote, and then I went on to look at her works because I really liked the part that she wrote. And the book I read was 13 Little Blue Envelopes, and I found this one actually on Goodreads, which is how we met, by the way. Just thought I had to add that in. And it was about this girl whose, I think, aunt or great aunt died and left her money and one envelope that said fly to like England or something, and then get the second envelope from here, and then she goes through like this whole Europe trip. The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. So this book is phenomenal, so good. It's got all these different components to it, and they all work together, but at the same time they tell such different stories, and it's just, yeah, phenomenal. And now the last one is a series. This is a series, if you don't know about it, you live under a rock. The Harry Potter series. I couldn't not mention it. I'm sorry, I could not mention it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Again, Harry Potter changed my life. You can be 90 and watching this, and sorry, it's just a weird thought, and you haven't read Harry Potter? Not a good enough excuse. Go grab it out of a library or buy it off a website and read it. Oh my god, I cannot describe to you. You have to read it. Oh my god. Sorry, if you haven't read it, what are you doing with your life? You need to reevaluate. Bye. I just whacked myself. Bye.